What's good, Franz?
Good morning, folks. It's like I was just here a couple days ago.
I know.
Because
We
I
got a-
was.
We got in a little bonus episode on Monday. I always appreciate
I
that.
am hyped
We
up.
had headlines rolling into the weekend. There was no way I was going to wait all the way till Wednesday to cover that, so why not?
So this is one of my favorite. Today, we're going to talk about one of my favorite topics, which is when can you use lethal force to defend yourself?
Uh-huh.
It is one of my favorite topics. Not because I'm going to tell your listeners, your viewers,
But yeah,
because how and when they can kill people.
I was going to say, like, why is it one of your favorite topics?
Because this is the one topic that anybody and everybody always walks up to me and starts the conversation. Besides, how do you represent people that are guilty? Is, hey, I got a self-defense question.
Yeah.
That is one of the biggest topics. So yeah, especially at the heels of a home invasion or burglary or whatever you want to call it, totally gone south for this perpetrator.
Right. Well, we're gonna walk through all of it if we can.
Sure.
I'm pretty sure this is the same story. You sent me a story. I've got a different story in front of me right here. Let's go with the one that you sent. All right. You sent it from WAFB. And all right, here we go. Baton Rouge police have released the name of a person who died after being shot while forcing himself into a home on the evening of Monday, April 24th. Quote, the deceased individual came to the victim's home banging on the door, said L.J. McNeely with BRPD. The homeowner came to the door, opened the door to see what was going on, and that's when that person rushed inside. There was a brief struggle. He fired one shot, striking him in the midsection. The victim was taken to a hospital where he then died from his injuries. According to the same story. According to the BRPD spokesman, 37-year-old Lawrence Bajwa died after being shot in the torso area by the homeowner. So this has been deemed justifiable by police. Now, per the WBRZ version of the story, there's some people that disagree. For example, there is Herbert Treese, who lives nearby. Herbert Treese, I have no idea what his
affiliation is to the story.
Yeah, other than he lives nearby, which gives him credence here. The quote on WBRZ's website says, "It's never a good time for someone to die." That sounds like a movie line, doesn't it? But like in reverse. That's like if there were a bizarro Samuel L. Jackson, that's something he would say. Anyway, it's never a good time for someone to die. There's always a better way to handle something. So Herbert Treese, who obviously has never been in this situation,
no, sir, please come take my stuff and possibly kill me in my own home. Please, Would you like a cup of coffee?
I have a feeling this segment is going to force me into an argument that I don't believe in, but the argument has to be portrayed. So
okay, I can argue either side.
We're going to get there.
Human life is sacred.
Human life is
sacred.
Yeah, it is.
It's sacred.
It is. And all right, on its surface, what does it take to be qualified as justified?
So a justifiable homicide is a homicide that happens where there is essentially a legal defense, self-defense, castle doctrine, stand your ground. These are the buzzwords that are buzz phrases that we're familiar with. In Louisiana, your family enjoy a right to defend your person and property while within your home and your vehicle.
Uh-huh.
So if somebody's coming into your house, you can use lethal force, kill them, and you're good. It's justifiable homicide.
Yeah.
You don't got to wait to see if they have a gun or not. You don't got to wait to see if they're there to sell you Girl Scout cookies. And you know what's interesting about this is this incident comes at the heels of a bigger national case where
Kansas City.
Yeah, to Kansas City, where a young man is essentially shot, like what, ringing the doorbell? Or
yeah. So no, a guy answers the door, was banging on the wrong door.
Right.
Answers the door, shoots the guy dead. But that story is being based 100% off of race.
Right.
I have no idea the race is involved in this one.
So
don't want to know.
So here's the takeaway for Louisiana citizens, and we'll talk more about this. Somebody banging on your door, that's not enough. That's not justifiable homicide.
Don't open it.
Yeah, don't open it.
Don't open the door.
Call 911.
Right. Absolutely. Okay, well, we're going to pause right there. I will check news, traffic, weather, come back with more Legally Served. It's 6:30. So we're doing this thing at City Club. We're going to start moving it around a little bit. I don't know if it's always going to be at City Club. We've done 2 of them so far.
City Club's got good food and good environment.
I had shrimp and grits for lunch yesterday.
Well, that's on you.
I gained 2 pounds. from lunch.
Well, hold on. If your issue is the food is great but it's not healthy, I might agree with you on that.
That's the
Yeah.
no.
You need to go
The
to Cork.
issue
Go to
is-
Corks. That's a little.
I've been to Corks.
It's a little loud. You can't do that. You can't do your. You need some place that you can actually set up and do a. And
do the thing from Corks? No, Corks is basically a fast food joint.
I love it. I
Okay,
love it.
but you're not doing like a get together.
I want to do lines of Corks.
I had mainline Corks. Good. But Moon and I talked about legislative issues from the session, and I was visibly upset the entire time because of the income tax thing. I was ready. I had the income tax thing covered from top to bottom. I had notes like memorized, and then Richard Nelson decides, here's a half-ass effort. Let's shoot this thing down. Anyway, by all accounts, it was another good installment of the main course with Moon and Brian.
Galen brings up another national case, where a little girl tries to retrieve a ball from her neighbor's yard and gets shot. Again, that's not in your home. That's a little kid in your backyard.
Yeah. Can I drag him back into the yard after I shoot him dead? Does that
This isn't
count?
Florida.
Yeah.
This isn't Florida. Yeah. I got to tell you that 20-minute drive from our side of town to the radio station in the morning sometimes is a little.
Well, why'd you move out there?
You know the answer to that.
I do know the answer to that.
I'm going to try to do the 6 o'clock rosary tomorrow, too. I don't have fish tomorrow, so it'll be the first time I can do it. Love makes us do crazy things, Haldane. Eric Harrell. So if someone is banging on the door and my Roomba with a claymore goes off, ?
You just drag him back in the yard. You just drag him after you shoot him dead.
Okay, question, because this happened to me one time. What if a guy is following you to your car?
Then
Can I shoot him?
self-defense law, not castle doctrine, kicks in. Self-defense law is you can use a reasonable amount of force to repel a threat or harm.
I was ready to run.
You just strike me as someone who's packing, though. You're not packing? You strike me as... You don't have to
Don't
answer that.
question.
Aren't you from Texas?
I'm from Texas.
The stars
I
at night.
was ready to run him over with my car.
Okay, but once you're in your car and you can leave, though.
Or
He
call
was, like,
911.
banging on my window.
Well, that's different.
And I was like, sir, I will run you over. Like, I
Did
really
he look
would've.
scary? Did he look scary?
He was Indian.
Oh.
So,
yeah. Was he methed up?
No, I don't. I was just kidding. But I was at a bar.
You were kidding that he was Indian, or you were kidding?
He was Indian, but I was kidding that's what made him
When
scary.
you say
What
native-
scary
when you
was that?
say-
There's nothing scary about Indian people. They're like the most meek people on the planet.
Okay, he was Indian, was joking that he scared me because he's Indian. He scared me because I was walking back to my car by myself and he followed me to
Right.
it.
That is a horrible portrayal of Indian people.
That's any more today.
Also,
You can't do that movie
no,
anymore.
you can't.
Harrison Ford was in it, so it's okay, right?
Yeah.
Small fry. Is that the name of the character?
Short round.
Short round. He just won an Academy Award. Shooting through a door, not okay. That's problematic, Deborah. Let me say this. There might be a fact pattern where it might be okay, but generally shooting through the door is not okay. Unless they're shooting through the door, and then you can return fire through the door, I guess. I don't know.
Good morning, Christy. Oh, by the way, good morning. She's probably already crazy with the circus this morning, so.
It's early. What time do they get to school? Like, what time does school start these days?
I think they get to school for 7:15.
Oh my
So I
gosh.
land into carpool. I get into the carpool line at about 7:15, and they let them out at 7:25.
There you go.
But you can go as late as what?
7:45.
7:45. But it gets really crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
Let's get a look at that forecast. Here is WBRZ meteorologist Jacelyn Wheat.
wait, wait. Say Cool Whip.
Cool whip.
Cool Whip.
Cool whip. Mm.
So I used to hate carpool, but I now find that it's one of the best bonding times I have with my son.
It's all about perspective.
Right. And when I was afraid for my life, Steven. I was afraid for my life. I don't remember doing anything but firing until the gun was out of bullets.
Mm-hmm. Was that from South Park when they were talking about hunting? It's coming right for us. 637 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. A little legally served, rolling right along. Attorney Franz Borghardt is in with us. Let's take you to Kansas City, Missouri. An 84-year-old white man in Kansas City, Missouri was charged Monday with first-degree assault for shooting a black teen who mistakenly went to the man's home to pick up his younger brothers. Prosecutors say, prosecuting attorney Zachary Thompson said at a news conference that there was a racial component Thursday night, because there always is a racial component, when Andrew Lester twice shot 16-year-old Ralph Yarl, who is recovering at home after being released from the hospital. But nothing in the charging documents says the shooting was racially motivated. Quote, "We understand how frustrating this has been. I can assure you the criminal justice system is working and will continue to work," Thompson said. So that was up in Kansas City. What we're talking about back home is an intruder.
Would you like to know how that plays out in Louisiana?
Didn't all right, well, let me
Okay.
make the comparison to back here. The difference is Kansas City, it appears, guy opens door, fires. Baton Rouge, guy opens door, gets bum rushed, then fires in self-defense. Is that about the only difference between those two?
Yeah.
Okay. How does this play out in Louisiana?
So in Louisiana, if you shoot someone who's in your door but not in your house, and you do not have a reasonable fear of a threat or a harm, serious, the direct quote is fear of death or serious bodily injury, then you are going to get arrested for second-degree murder. You will be facing up to life in prison or life in prison, and you do not pass go. You do not collect $200. The interesting piece about the Kansas story is and I'm not trying to get into a conversation about race, but that totally changes the dynamic of the case. I mean, like in one breath, race has nothing to do with it, or there's no evidence to support that race has anything to do with it.
It doesn't matter if race has something to do with it or not. Race has something to do with it because somebody wants race to have something to do with it.
Right. So
if either or neither of the parties are black, race is going to have something to do with it as soon as somebody speaks up and says, "Oh, there's a racial component here."
So I used the car example. Our colleague Alondra brought a car incident up.
Hang on one quick second. The reason I bring that up is because it waters down actually racially motivated things.
Well, it does.
If that card is played every single time, it's a disservice to those who are victims of racism.
Well, and it also that assertion. I'm not going to use the word card. The assertion of race being a part of the crime also opens it up for enhancements, because many states have
absolutely.
Hate crime.
Absolutely.
You know, and look, we've seen it the other way in Baton Rouge. We've seen it where a gas station, a black suspect goes up to a white guy and says, "You're in the wrong neighborhood."
Yep. You got off at the wrong exit?
Yeah. But here's the deal.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
The car, that's another one.
Hang on. You're opening up all kinds of conversation
sorry.
that was talked about off the air that the radio listening
That's
audience.
why I was opening it up.
Okay, but we've got plenty of conversation to cover here first.
Okay, you're the
Okay.
boss. You're the
Now,
boss.
comparatively speaking, the only difference is whether or not that person was physically inside the domicile, right?
So once you're in, it's castle doctrine.
Yes.
I can use force.
Yes. But before they're in, you made reference to the term reasonable fear for their safety.
It's self-defense outside the domicile, outside the vehicle.
What determines reasonable fear?
Reasonable fear is a based on the circumstances, the totality of circumstances, your life experience, what you know and what you don't know, and what you've been trained.
Now,
I use that term deliberately. What training you have.
Who trains us?
Well, if you've taken a concealed carry class or a self-defense course,
Oh.
or if you've been trained law enforcement and you know what individuals sometimes do and don't do that are about to perpetrate crimes. It's you. We play it, to use the phrase, we play it as it lies. So you, Brian Haldane, opening the door, we take you and what's reasonable to you and reasonable based on the circumstances.
I can have a reasonable fear for my own safety based off of what?
Baton Rouge being a demilitarized zone.
That doesn't help things.
High crime neighborhood. High crime city.
Doesn't even have to be Baton Rouge.
What time of night is it? How much lighting is there?
It could be the middle of the afternoon.
Is the individual coming to your door holding an object that appears to be a weapon?
Take you to Covington, Louisiana. Just a few months ago, St. Tammany Parish Coroner Charles Preston has identified one of the bodies of two people who were found badly burned in downtown Covington Monday morning. That victim was identified as Father Otis Young, a retired priest at St. Peter's Catholic Church in Covington. His preliminary cause of death has been listed as blunt and sharp force trauma and the manner homicide. That story, a man was walking up and down, a man who got out of prison just like 2 weeks prior. I might be off by a week or so on that timeline, but he had just gotten out of prison. He was walking up and down the street, banging on doors, looking for someone to find. He found himself a retired priest. All that priest did was answer the door, got himself beaten to death and burned in a dumpster. He and the secretary from the church's office. Now, do I have a reasonable reason to fear for my life just from answering the door?
So I cannot talk about that case. But what I can do is I can talk about a similarly situated case, a hypothetical, same set of facts you just described.
Yes.
Do I know he's going from door to door banging on doors? If I don't, I can't. If I don't know that he's doing that, that's not something that goes into the calculus of what's reasonable.
Okay.
It's what I know. Playing it as it lies means playing it as it lies.
What I know versus what I think, though. Let's say I'm on the Nextdoor app. And
that's a beacon of valid and
someone on
reliable.
The Nextdoor app says, hey, somebody was just banging on my door. And that's someone who says that is 4 doors down from you.
Right. Well, why are you opening the door, though? Here's my question. If you want to use self-defense and what's reasonable,
your first line of defense is your door.
Right. I mean, I'm just being.
Yeah.
I mean, people don't
I'm with
like
you.
Hardcore gun folk, and I'm a gun folk sometimes. Hardcore gun folks are like, I have the right to open the door. Like, yeah, you do, but I mean, is that reasonable?
And drag him back in.
Like, why wouldn't you just call 911?
Yeah, it's a darn good question because 911 takes a while.
Like
those couple minutes are going to be an eternity.
Okay, unless you have a point of entry where the door is not going to stop the individual.
Right.
Your castle is safe.
Yeah.
Theoretically.
Now
we can devise fact patterns where knocking on the door, banging on the door. Now, here's a better question. Bangs on the door, you're looking through the peephole, you're like, I'm not opening this door. Laundry's like, I'm not opening this door. I listen to Franz, I'm going to stay here, I'm going to call 911.
Right.
Then, dude goes over to Laundra's car in the driveway and starts opening up the car door.
Okay.
And starts rummaging through.
Yes.
Do you have the right to use force at that point?
Isn't your car an extension of your home?
If you're in the car.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go outside and try to stop him or her from doing that.
Yeah.
But until you have a reasonable belief of serious bodily injury, imminent death, cannot use lethal force.
All right. The car part of this is what's going to make me have this argument that I'm not even going to believe in, but the argument has to be made.
Okay.
So at a certain point, guys banging on your door, then goes over to your car, rummages through your car. At a certain point, why isn't your response, oh, thank God I'm okay?
That's true.
Take whatever you're going to take out of my car. It's just stuff.
In a Judeo-Christian world, the stuff is not as important as your life, and more particularly, the purse that he or she may steal from a laundry's car is not as valuable as the $50,000 to $100,000 defense you're going to have to deploy.
Yeah.
When you are, let's just play this out, play the film out. When you're prosecuted,
Mm-hmm.
when your reputation in life is ruined because all of a sudden you're racist because you shot somebody who's.
That's where we're going to have to pick it up after this. Quick break. Checking your money now. Checking traffic. Coming back. It's legally served.
I'm all over the place. Sorry. I get excited.
I know.
I'm sorry.
There's continuity from a listener's standpoint.
It's like you're trying to have a good show or something.
You would think.
Someone is kicking your door down. I think you can safely assume they aren't there to deliver your Christmas ham. Are Christmas hams still a thing? I don't know. Whoa, I love me some lamb. It needs to taste innocent, though. It needs to taste innocent, though. I need my lamb to be kind of, innocent lamb, yeah. I need the lamb to be silent. Yeah.
I try to like lamb, but I don't really like it that much. I try to, but it's not my favorite. Like I prefer the prime rib to the lamb.
I go to Texas Day Brazil sometimes just over the lollipops.
Expensive creping.
Not the way I eat the lamb. I win. Trust me. It is an expensive restaurant.
Texas Day Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
Freaking fantastic, though.
It is the mashed potatoes.
I can't
know
eat enough
it's
to make
steak,
it
but the
worthwhile
mashed
anymore.
Huh?
I can't eat enough to make it worthwhile.
I can't.
When I was fat, I could put a hurting on that place. I would get my money's worth.
I do leg day before.
Yeah.
Go to Tejas de Brazil. I'm getting my money's worth.
So Byron writes, deterrence is best. I have a hanging sign on the door that says, ask me about Jesus. Haven't had a door knock in forever.
Why don't you just put one of those beware dog?
That
Everyone's
doesn't stop
scared.
people. But the sound of a dog will deter people.
Yeah.
Sonny says, I don't open my door ever.
Sonny,
I use the garage because I ain't opening my door for S. You're not obligated to ever open your door. I don't know why people open doors.
I don't know.
Like,
my door.
sir, you're on my property. I need you to leave.
Some guy came knocking on my door the other day, and I didn't open it. I'm like, who the f- is this? I'm not opening this.
Sonny writes, if Franz showed up at my door with that black biker vest with the collar pop, I'd be scared.
Pop the collar.
I think it is pop, kind of.
It is pop. It's not a full-on collar.
It's yeah.
Just trying to stay warm, guys. I'm just trying. It's cold. I'm cold. Just trying to stay warm.
You know what helps with that?
A real jacket.
I have sleeves on.
On your jacket.
But the problem is it gets warmer in the course of the day. It's like high in the 80s today, right?
I don't know.
Yes.
Is it summer yet? I don't know. Spencer Callahan. I tell you, when he bought that jingle, it was the best. Spencer Callahan, that was the best investment he ever did. I can't not remember his number. I mean, it's not as good as 555 55555 55555.
Yeah. I struggled to get out of bed this morning.
I don't have court today, but I do get to be a model. Remember? Denim
Oh,
Day
yeah,
today.
yeah.
Denim Day. I'm going to get you a ticket if you want to go. Yeah. It's up to you. I'll send you a link. Today is Denim Day. It's a fundraiser. I'm a model.
What is Denim Day?
If you would
it's today.
If you would have listened to Go Rouge, you'd know the answer to that.
A little busy Friday.
Saturday. It was Saturday. The show plays on Saturday on the radio.
That's right. You were live on YouTube, though.
I was live on YouTube.
There you go.
I'm not complaining. Alondra did a great job.
.650 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. We'll catch your money now next hour. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Legally Served with attorney Franz Borghardt rolling right along. We're talking about self-defense. We're talking about castle doctrine. but I'm very intentionally mixing two other stories into this Baton Rouge story. The Baton Rouge story is one that happened on Monday where an intruder was shot. Police said an intruder was shot and killed while forcibly entering a home on North Acadian Thruway Monday night. Happened on Ontario Street near North Acadian around 10 p.m. Guy was shot for his efforts. I want to get back around to this Herbert Treese guy who was quoted in the story. So BRPD said someone was shot multiple times after forcing themselves into a home on Ontario Street. Officers said 37-year-old Lawrence Bajwa reportedly banged on the door multiple times before the resident opened the door. Bajwa allegedly charged the resident and hit him before the resident shot him multiple times. Police did not specify whether there was a connection between Bajwa and the resident. Quote, they feared for their life, and I feel like it was what it was, said Herbert Treese. Police are still investigating. They think it was a justifiable shooting. Others disagree. Treese went on to say, it's never a good time for someone to die. There's always a better way to handle something. Franz, what on earth could be a better way to handle something once you're in that situation? Once you're in that situation, you're being rushed. You've already been hit. First of all the luck to have your gun on you. I mean, if you hear the banging on the door, you're probably going to go run and grab it for sure. But like if I'm sitting in my den watching some Gravity Falls with James, okay, and someone comes banging on the door, I don't know if it is the dude from Covington who killed the priest or Amazon. And with as much as people have delivered to their homes these days, that's probably an increasing trend.
What time of day was it?
For this one, 10 o'clock at night.
That's a little late.
Amazon doesn't deliver at night?
At 10 o'clock at night?
8 o'clock at night?
Let me tell you something.
You're talking about a window of 2 hours difference.
I was raised by a paranoid man that said if you come to my house and after 9 o'clock and bang on the door or knock on the door, you have to know good.
Let's take you back in time by about 6 years.
Okay.
I'm DJing a wedding in the French Quarter. It's a Saturday night. It's around 9:30 p.m.
Like a novel.
Doesn't it, though? I'm painting a picture here, man. Theater of the mind. It's radio. I'm DJing a wedding in the French Quarter. 9:30 p.m. on a Saturday night. I get a text from my wife. Someone's banging on the door.
Okay.
This was more than 6 years ago because we only had 2 kids
So
at the
she
time.
has the wherewithal to call you.
She texted me.
Okay.
I said, call 911.
Okay.
She did. Okay. She says they keep banging on the door. So come to find out, it was somebody who reported a gas leak in the neighborhood. And there's apparently like a sewer line that goes behind our house.
Okay.
So they were searching for that to get into our backyard.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how it played out. But in real time, first of all, hour and a half away, French Quarter back home, right. Hour and a half away. That is nothing but total terror. Yeah. That is the definition of hell to me.
And that your quarterbacking of that situation was spot on. I would say 10 times out of 10, call 911.
Absolutely.
What do I do?
Yeah.
Call 911.
Call 911. Get their butts out here.
Right.
Get everybody's butt out here. Call 911 and call 911 again.
Christy, none of us are obligated to open the door. None of us are obligated to try to take the law into our own hands. Mm-hmm. Door's locked, call 911.
But the point of my story here is 9:30 on a Saturday night and a very legitimate reason to have somebody.
We're right.
Fast forward to about just over a year ago. Somebody reported smoke coming from our house. Same scenario, banging on the back door this time. I was home. Banging on the back door this time after 10 p.m. It was Baton Rouge Fire Department.
Okay. But
these are things you don't know until you know.
Well,
like in the moment, I could go blasting through that door. I could shoot right through the door at that point. That's it. No. Because I would already have my level of fear is already such, Franz, that there's no way in heck that I'm going to do anything but.
When you say blast through the door.
Shoot it.
Okay.
Shoot the door.
Let me be abundantly clear for the listeners and anybody that ever watches this episode. Criminal defense attorney, adjunct law professor Franz Borchardt is advising you not to shoot through the door because someone's banging on your door. That being said, it's all about what you perceive, what's reasonable in the circumstances. If you don't see the red flashing lights of a fire truck outside, How are you? And it's your back door. It's your back door. Now, meanwhile, why is the fire department banging on your back door, not your front door?
Back door's under the carport. I think they were banging on both. I was just close to the back door.
I mean, it's all about context, right?
Yeah.
Right. So when you say back door, I have this image of something.
Backyard. Yeah, no. Carport leads out to the driveway.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
driveway leads to the street. Makes sense.
Listen, guys, my advice to you, and I seldom give advice on the radio. I do commentary. I'm a commentator and a criminal defense attorney. Call 911. And bigger thing, and I said this yesterday on a news outlet, if you do use your firearm, if you do act in self-defense, if you do follow the law, the last that you need to be the one calling 911. You don't leave the scene. You don't flee. You stay put. You call 911. And then before you make a statement to the police, you talk to an attorney. Because you've just been in a traumatic incident. I don't care how well trained you are. You're in a traumatic incident. You need to take a minute. I'll tell you, leaving the scene. Fleeing the scene is the number one thing that takes a otherwise self-defense posture and destroys it. Because judges and juries say, well, wait, why would someone who was following the law and acting in self-defense leave? Because they were scared.
Because they were scared.
Right.
100%.
Because I pooped my pants and I had to go change.
Because you don't know if the person that you fired on in self-defense, you don't know if that person was alone or not.
Right.
You don't know if they've got somebody else in their car who was waiting 2 minutes before coming in themselves.
I also tell people, and this is a tangent, but quick, since we have time, get a ring on your door, on both doors, on all doors, to where you can actually see the camera.
Yeah.
And if they're obstructing the camera, then that tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
You don't buy on rings.
I know we should have one, but the idea of seeing everything that goes on throughout the day, I think would lead me to a state of paranoia that I don't want. Oh, somebody was at my front door peeking through my window. Well, nothing came of it. And I don't need to see every time that happens because I will overreact as a result.
Well, that is a conscious decision you're making.
It's a subconscious decision.
Or a subconscious one. And that's your choice. It's your house.
But the same is true by the reasonable level of fear created by the media, because I believe, like, quoting that, looking back at that Covington story where a priest and a secretary were killed, that enters into my mind. That's part of the decision-making process if something were to happen here. Is it not?
We work in a building. We're working in a building where there's a lot of transient people walking past the building, sleeping next to the building, using the bathroom next to the building. I've seen it.
This building?
Yes. I'm not trying to devalue.
Twice, man. Maybe twice. And there was the one guy
I gotta tell you,
left his dog strapped to the stairwell. Still haven't found him.
I got to tell you, if you watch somebody peeing next to you in a public place, next to a public building,
let me know next time that happens, please.
Can I take a picture? Is that a crime for me to videotape somebody peeing in public? Anyways.
I don't think so.
No.
We got you're asking me the legal question?
So here's the thing. You need to, and this is easy for me to say, you need to quarterback these incidents well in advance of, okay, if somebody's banging at my door, what am I going to do?
Right.
So that when it does happen, you at least, okay, take a deep breath. I'm going to call 911. That's what Franz and Brian suggested. Call 911. That's what Franz, the lawyer, said, call 911. This is crazy. Well, this story locally is not crazy. I think he's perfectly justified doing what he did.
Oh, yeah. I think we're all on the same page with that one. He's attorney Franz Borghardt. We do Legally Served at about this time every week. Always appreciate you, man.
All right.
We got ABC News coming your way now.